outside right now. This is the first in what we hope will be a series of events in life science innovation, brought to you by Citi, the firm of Wilson Sonsini Goodrich and Rosati, and Impacted BioConsult. I'm Craig Kaninsky, and it's something to confess. I'm a lawyer. I come as your friend. I'm the head of the life science practice in the New York office of Wilson Sonsini Goodrich and Rosati. We work with growth stage life science companies and the people who invest in the growth stage life science companies. And I like to think that I'm actually doing the presenters a solid by giving the introduction, because if the first person you hear from is a lawyer, then it can only get better. So now I'd like to introduce our host from Citi, a very dear friend of mine, Johnny Srivastava. Johnny, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight out in the rain. We were worried that it was just me, Andrea, and Craig, but it looks like
in New York,
people will turn out, so that's great. I'm part of the life sciences team here at Citi Commercial Bank. Like Craig said, we focus on growth stage companies, and we're really excited to be a part of this consortium, and looking forward to learning what's happening in the space this evening, what's new, what's innovative, and working with all of you regarding your banking needs. And with that, I'll hand it to Andrea.
Johnny's a banker and I'm a lawyer. So the difference is,
no, I never said I was a banker, but I am.
when you pay Johnny a whole lot of money, it's still your money. So now I'll introduce our moderator for the evening, Andrea Barton from Impacted BioConsult. Impacted BioConsult assists biotechnology investors in identifying high-value investment opportunities, acting on those opportunities, and continuing to build value post-closing. And of course, to do that, you need bankers and lawyers, right? Andrea.
Thank you. First of all, I just wanted to say thank you, everyone, for being here in the rain. And I know it's not easy to get here, and through security as well.
Sorry about
I
that.
had a hard time getting here, so I thought, I don't know how you guys are going to get here, but I'm happy you're here. And I just wanted to say, first of all, that this is a group of friends of friends. So you'll notice that you know a lot of people here, and there's a reason for that. We have some really, I think, amazing people in this room, and people that are committed to this industry, committed to innovation, and we're all driving towards that innovation in one way or another, either by financing it and funding it through impact investing, family offices that can make direct investments and create a legacy with their funds. And we have the companies up here that are driving that innovation and making it happen. So each time we do one of these series, we look at a different category of innovation, because it's happening on so many different levels in so many different ways. And it's really exciting to see what's on the horizon. And I get excited about what's happening, and love that you guys are all a part of it. So, these companies up here, I think, are positioned for success, and I think they're doing some really amazing things, and I'm excited for you guys to hear about it. We also have some people in the room from our last session. We have people from Spectron Systems. You guys want to just say hi? And they have some really great AI. So our last panel was about AI in healthcare. So this one, what we're going to talk about today, is a really interesting subject, I think. So I think most of us, especially in America, we think of health and wellness as one category, whether we're talking about finance or our own personal health. And we think of traditional medicine as another category. And there are many patients and people that choose one or the other. So if you notice, some people say, I only do alternative health. I do homeopathic medicine, I do meditation, I do acupuncture, preventative medicine. And other people say, quackery. I don't believe in that. That's all nonsense. I only go to my doctor, and I go to a hospital. Those guys are whack jobs. So there's you know, a different industries, right? And even from a financial perspective, we term it in different ways and we account for it in different ways. So for instance, if you look at the numbers, it's a large market if you bring it all together. So for instance, weight loss market is $700 billion. Fitness, mind and body is $595 billion. Workplace wellness is another $360 billion. And then if you look at preventative personalized medicine and regenerative health, that's $575 billion. And that's a low estimate because that category in itself is changing quite a bit. So what if we brought it all together? And why is it that we have to have two different categories? Why can't we just be healthy? Why are there two different reasons? Why are there two different categories? So there is a reason for that. So I thought, first of all, we take you down memory lane when that wasn't the case. And we'll give you a little bit of history of medicine. So we're going to show a video first to show you, and then we'll talk about the history.
In 1800s, society sanctioned both approaches to healing. Patients had a choice of using either doctors, called allopaths, or natural healers, called empirics or homeopaths. The two groups waged a bitter philosophical debate. The allopathic doctors called their approach heroic medicine. They believed the physician must aggressively drive disease from the body. They based their practice on what they considered scientific theory. The allopaths used three main techniques. They bled the body to drain out the bad humors. They gave huge doses of toxic minerals like mercury and lead to displace the original disease. They also used surgery, but it was a brutal procedure before anesthesia and infection control. Few patients were willing to have surgery. Most patients feared allopathic methods altogether. Satirists of the day remarked that with allopathic treatment, the patient died of the cure. Competing with the doctors were the empiric healers. Contrary to the doctors, they believed in stimulating the body's own defenses to heal itself. Instead of poisonous minerals, they used vegetable products and non-toxic substances in small quantities. They especially favored herbs, learned from Native American and old European traditions. The empirics said they based their remedies not on theory, but on observation and experience. Satirists of the day added that with empiric treatment, the patient died of the disease, not the cure. In the 1800s, doctors tried to stop the popular empirics from collecting their fees by denouncing them as quacks. Economic competition from the empiric healers caused the doctors to found the American Medical Association. But the AMA was a small trade association without political clout, and the balance of medical power remained equal until the turn of the century. Then, new medical treatments emerged that were potentially very profitable. Promoting these methods, the AMA joined with strong financial forces to transform medicine into an industry. The fortunes of Carnegie, Morgan, and Rockefeller financed surgery, radiation, and synthetic drugs. They were to become the economic foundations of the new medical economy. Ironically, John D. Rockefeller himself used only an empiric homeopath while investing in allopathic medicine. Surgery became viable with anesthesia and infection control, and doctors advocated expensive, radical operations. These in turn produced the need for a large, lucrative hospital system. The allopaths also discovered a new toxic mineral, radium. Radium fever swept medicine. The price of radium rose 1,000% almost overnight. Another costly technological industry entered the hospital system. A drug industry grew out of the booming patent medicine business. Ironically, many of the new synthetic drugs came from plants and empiric remedies. Drug company ads boosted the revenues of the AMA Journal 500% in 10 years. The doctors changed educational standards and licensing regulations to exclude the empirics. Soon, only AMA-approved doctors could legally practice medicine. In a brief 20 years, the AMA came to dominate medical practice. Organized Medicine launched a media campaign to associate the empirics with quacks. The code word for competition was quackery. By the 1940s, its quack files had swelled to include 300,000 names. The Fitzgerald Report to Congress named at least a dozen other promising cancer treatments seemingly blocked by organized medicine. Their proponents were mostly doctors and scientists of high reputation. The treatments were immunological or nutritional. Dismissing them as quackery were panels of surgeons and radiation therapists. The congressional report emphasized two outstanding cases of alleged suppression, Harry Hoxsey and Dr. Andrew C. Ivy. If Hoxsey fit the image of a quack, Dr. Ivy certainly did not.
So, I mean, that's a somewhat depressing history lesson, but we've come a long way right now, and I think, you know, one of the most exciting things actually that's happened recently is immuno-oncology, for instance. So, you know, where immunology and oncology have come together. You guys have heard of Keytruda and PD-1s. It's actually allowing the body's own immune system to fight disease. So these, even from that category, which is the largest, one of the largest categories in life sciences right now, we're seeing these two categories come together. And now we're embarking on a time where in the near future, we're going to see health and wellness, which you could see was very hostile or very different from the AMA and traditional medical system. And now we're seeing those come together for the first time. And the reason why is because now we have technology, we have patient empowerment, and we're at a whole different level. And we're able to see, you know, some really interesting things. So I'd love to, you know, first of all, from the audience, because this is participatory, how many people only use traditional medicine? How many people use homeopathic medicine? Okay, see, already changing. So, and we have some people here on the panel, I'd love to hear their experience because they've gone through all of it from a historical perspective. So Fred, can you tell me about your experience and why now? Why are these two very different industries coming together?
I suppose the best way to get going on this question is my own experience. I was involved in the startup of Oxford Health Plan, and then the company, as an insurance company, grew very fast around here and became the fastest growing company on NASDAQ for 2 years in a row, grew to about $6 billion, $5.8 billion in revenue. And then I distributed my shares and I left because I thought we were going too fast. And I knew the problem. But anyway, a year later, phone rings, the stock gone from 80 to 11. And no one's done anything wrong, but it was just dumb things that happened. But anyway, I came back as chairman and chief, sort of tried to turn it around. The reason I'm telling you that is in that turnaround that I discovered a lot of the stuff that I'm going to talk to you about tonight. And one is that I discovered that about a half dozen diseases, all inflammatory, were costing us 80 cents on the dollar of care, just to sign the checks of their claims. And I said, wow, that's astounding. If you can turn around these diseases or do something about them, I can turn around this company, which really substantially was the case when we did turn around. And I then asked our doctors, we had about 20 very smart doctors internally, and of course hundreds of thousand doctors were in the 5-state area that we would be working on. Said, how do you really treat these diseases, diabetes, heart, and all? It was unbelievable. Our doctors are fantastic in diagnosing the disease, that you've got diabetes. But the solution is always the same, give you some pill to go home. And we'll give you more pills the next time. That's why a 55-year-old in America takes at least 6 pills a day. And at 85, I ran some nursing home and elder care. You don't count this, almost at least 12, 13, 14 of them. They can't even remember the stuff. And it doesn't do you any good. None of those pills actually turn the disease around. They remove the symptom, but they do not change the underlying disease. So it's not curative. It's palliative at best. And so we have to deal with this issue. This is not something people are facing. I think we are now beginning to face. So I don't want to dominate the conversation, but basically that's where I learned that there is a way. We were beginning to see people like Ornish and others were turning around heart problems by essentially lifestyle change. And I got very excited about it. And so when we sold Oxford to United Health for a lot of money, and I was saying earlier to some friends here that they actually not 6 times what we sold it for. It's a $30 billion piece on the United. We sold it for 6. And we all did very well. The point is, the thing that I took out of it was, why is our health system handcuffed, not looking at lifestyle changes that could make these diseases? There was no science behind it. And I think at a later point today we discussed it. The science did come about in the last 20 years, particularly the science of teleneuroscience and some other evidence-based medicine that is really attractive. That's what I did pull together in a company that I'm building called Human Global Health for the past 5 years to attend to this thing, to bring, and at the latest version, to bring the sick care and health care together. Let me start by saying that our system is a sick care system. Most people know. You don't go see our doctors or hospitals. Hospitals are really the place if you are sick. Frankly, I saw my kids going through medical school, the best of it. They're just disease-based teaching. They don't understand health. They understand disease. And they don't have to mediate disease, which is wonderful. Only one part of the equation. That's kind of late. We'll discuss about the reasons for allopathic medicine and its emphasis on reactive medicine as opposed to proactive medicine, and why that has to change, and why we can change, and how today we can do that. So I'll start with that.
No, thanks, Fred. No, that's great. And so that's one side of it, is the health and wellness and prevention, and what we personally can do as patients to improve our health. The other side of it is science and breakthroughs in science that we have in terms of actually now we're able to engineer our cells so that our cells can treat disease at a whole different level. So Robert, can you tell us a little bit about what's possible now?
First of all, I feel like I'm in this theater in the room, so please excuse me. So we're at a junction today in healthcare in terms of innovation that is even more than a revolution in the way we can look at the future. I grew up in the pill business. I was helped run pharmaceutical businesses. And then I transferred my expertise into the biotech industry. And so instead of giving somebody a pill to teach them to treat their symptoms, the biotech industry now treated diseases that were untreatable. We never used the word cure because we couldn't cure any diseases with biotechnology. But today, we have a confluence of unbelievable knowledge that we've built over the last 10 years or so in understanding the function of cells, understanding genes, understanding everything that goes into the body biologically. In addition to that, our ability to use computational power to really gather lots and lots of information and apply that to the patient and help distinguish really not just a simple diagnosis that's based on somebody hitting you on the knee, but really understanding the basis of disease, whether it's due from aging or due from concomitant disorders. We have all those things, and today we've learned in the immunodiagnostic area, immunochemistry area, as well as in the regenerative medicine area, that we can reverse diseases, that we can modify cells, that we can modify genes, we can modify gene function to repair diseases, repair tissues, repair organs, to be able to provide organs where we couldn't provide organs before. This type of approach is really a total new repair system, which will transform the way we look at medicine.
Great. And you guys went into your companies a little bit, but if you could each give just a brief synopsis of your company and what you're doing to help create this change. Fred, we'll start with you.
Okay, I think I laid down a sort of a plan of what a new future medicine is going to look like. I've also been very active in the technology part of it, in the IT part of it in Silicon Valley. Was one of the early venture capitalists, turned into entrepreneur, and was an entrepreneur, became venture capitalist, and back into it, and did a lot of chip companies and software companies and all that. So I'm pretty familiar with what that thing looks like. I think the combination of digital health and bringing this new technology, particularly with blockchain, I'm happy to talk about it, and AI, this makes it a lot easier, computational chemistry that he's talking about. So the company I'm building called Rejuvenome Global Health, its purpose was taking the Nobel Prize winning, 2009 Nobel Prize winning telomere biology, which I think if those of you have not really dug into it, you should. I think it's changing the landscape of medicine. It's a wonderful discovery that at the end of our 23 chromosomes, we've got this tail that is called telomere. The longer it is, the healthier you are, the shorter, the sicker you are. And more importantly, the subsequent years from 2009 to 2013, the Nobel Prize winners and other laboratories began to really work and showed that through 4 fundamental things, some nutritional regimens that are phytochemical, some ability to handle basically stress management area, fitness, not killing yourself going to the gym, but having appropriate fitness, and social support is very important. Those 4 things, if you can emphasize that, you can change people's basically biochemical structure. And so we took that to heart, took all of the literature, translated into snippets of wisdom for the consumer, which I think this is the next phase. This is going to have to become a consumer-centric delivery system anyway. This is what's happening. And consumers do not go for the highfalutin conversation of medicine. So if you tell them hemoglobin A1C, they blow a fuse. You got to tell them what that is, And so we translated this over 5 years into these very consumer-friendly things as algorithms, and then created engines to drive it. So we have a digital engine for diagnosis. It's like differential diagnosis the doctors do with expert system, and is matched with a delivery system or a treatment mechanism based on the literature. So by 10 biomarkers we identified, we can basically, you answered some questions, you take a blood test with LDL and hemoglobin A1C included in it. We can handicap your health and then begin to drive you on a day-to-day basis, digitally, on your cell phone, and any way you can get to the web. And all the wearables respond to what you're doing. So we created a whole ecosystem, transportable ecosystem for individuals to own their own health and healthcare, which is very substantial. You have to own your own health and healthcare. Today, the most important part of the healthcare system, which is the individual, it's my body. I don't own it. The doctors own it. The hospitals own it. The health insurance gives me the claim. It's just such nonsense. People have had it.
Yes.
So this revolt is coming on. So,
We'll go into that a little bit more in terms of.
Do you have a microphone
yes.
that we can hear?
Oh, you couldn't hear
No.
me?
You can't hear me or no?
No, we can't. I forgot my hearing aid, so I.
It was off.
So Jim, do you want to tell us a little bit about your company and what you're doing on the health and wellness side, which actually could affect disease potentially as well as it relates to stress and how you handle that?
Our company is in the business of changing this planet.
Where do you start?
The endeavor is noble. The concept is pretty straightforward. Activating that's a challenge. Stress is going to kill every single person in this room unless you're lucky enough to die from an accident. That's a fact. 98% of all diseases are catalyzed, exacerbated by stress. When you have a disease, the end of your life is catalyzed and expedited by stress. Cortisol, catecholamines, cytokine storms, all the things that we think we can control and we can't. As we get older, our GABAergic system and our natural biochemistry changes, and we perseverate at night and we have difficulty with the onset of sleep. Then we get up to urinate because our bladders are too small and our prostate's getting bigger. And then we perseverate and try to solve world problems at 3 o'clock in the morning, and no one's really ever solved a world problem at 3 o'clock in the morning. Stress psychologically, physically, emotionally compromises all of us. We see this, we know this. We know we don't perform at our best when we're stressed out. We know we're not the best dad, son, lover, business partner, pedestrian. Today on the way over here in my taxi, the taxi driver stopped twice. I thought we were going to get out of the fight. He's a diminutive chap, and I said, hey, I got your back. You get out. I don't know what we're doing here. Stop and get cussing at everybody. That's stress. Our company is a neuroscience company. Allopathic medicine versus homeopathic medicine. It's not, shouldn't be a fight, this, that, the other thing. What it is, for me, is the neuroscientist took 20 years to figure out the root cause and the etiology of the stress response, and figured out how can we develop a technology that's predictable, safe, and easy to use that literally activates the vagus nerve and creates parasympathetic nervous system dominance. We have an autonomic nervous system. It's a seesaw. You have the stress response and the rest response. It is a zero-sum game. Most of us have our foot on the accelerator. Now, that's great until your resilience starts breaking down. How stress kills us is real simple in anatomy physiology, and it'll affect all of us. And we know this because when you're in your 40s and 50s, you start feeling the pain of inflammation. Okay? Do you think that 40, 50 years ago there was this plethora of immunosuppressive diseases, ulcerative colitis, irritable bowel syndrome, all these things gut-related? It's all cortisol in our gut. So we have a technology that uses physics, science, proven neuroscience, biochemistry, science, proven neuroscience. We have the only patent in the world for managing the stress response without drugs. That's a big deal. We got that patent by enlisting the help of Norman Wang, one of the world's leading statistical biophysicists at NASA, and Dr. Chung Kang-Pang, one of the leading statistical biophysicists at Harvard, did independent research to showcase the effect that we have on the stress response. So we are here, when I say we're here to change the world, I mean it. I have the luxury and the challenge of being the Chancellor of Chill. I travel this world relaxing people. And stress doesn't discriminate. We work a lot with stage 4 cancer where they can't slow down. And the irony is when they need sleep and rest the most, they can't. They're dying faster. We work with PTSD, trauma, anxiety, comorbidity of addiction. We also work with the other continuum. Celebrities, 42 professional sports teams. I'm sure you guys have heard of the Golden State Warriors, the Washington Capitals, the Philadelphia Eagles, the French World Cup team. They use our product to reduce inflammation, to make their heads clear. They're essentially able to meditate like monks. And I don't know if you guys work with any athletes, but they're not monks. Okay? And the farthest extreme, we work with monks. We chill out monks with our technology. Stress doesn't discriminate. So that's what we do. We are in the business of managing stress without drugs.
Thank you. Thanks, Joe. Joel, can you tell us from the hospital standpoint, we're looking at the practicality, right? So you have all these great innovative companies and, they're making some great changes in health and wellness, and, hospitals are where, we traditionally go to fight disease. So our hospitals now, and in particular yours, are you incorporating health and wellness, and what does that look like, and how practical is it to tie in some of these aspects?
There's just so many ways to think about this, but not necessarily changing the whole world at once. I just want to say we're taking one patient at a time. So there's a couple of different things we're talking about. The subject of in a hospital, health and wellness is a very different thing than preventive care and preventive medicine. Within a hospital, patients, families, staff are very stressed out, just by definition. So stress management, we were talking earlier about, if I could do one thing that Jim and I talked about, it's get 20-minute rests from my nursing staff once a day. That would be a powerful thing. It's not even for the patient, it's for the staff. So how do we reduce stress in the building? We have lots of ways of doing that.
I mean, for patients, yeah.
So within the hospital, it's architecture. We design facilities that are relaxing and peaceful. That's an important part of the experience. We have been using integrated medicine for 19 years now. Our cancer center, which is the fully accredited, the whole thing can be, is the Cancer Treatment and Wellness Center. So all of our cancer treatment, think about, is there a moment in your life